WWE and AEW are going to be running the UBS Arena in Long Island in relatively the same amount of time. As reported right now, WWE have sold for that Raw event just 3,000 tickets so far, according to WrestleTix. And AEW apparently have distributed over 7,600 tickets so far, and they are very close to a sellout. WWE are due to host the first ever show from the UBS Arena in Long Island on Monday, 29th of November, with the venue set to open in just a couple of weeks. But ticket sales have not been great, as I said, and AEW will be there in the first week of December. The promotion have already announced the Universal Champion Roman Reigns is going to be there. They've tried to build this up. It's not really helping. And it's also noted that WWE's prices have almost been cut in half. Upper Deck seating was previously marked at $30, and it is now $15. Hell, you and I probably could make a trip up there in the night for $15. But what's your reaction to this news, and what does this signal as far as WWE and AEW? Like, does it signal that AEW is probably the hotter ticket right now?
It's concerning. It is concerning. It's just a wrestling fan in general. It's concerning. I mean, like you said, we talked about this months ago. It's one of those things where, WWE's been around so long and they still have these loyal fans, whether or not the product is A1, they still have these loyal fans. And I've worked at arenas where I've seen these guys come out in droves, and it's interesting and concerning to see that their ticket prices have been cut like that with the spike of pro wrestling. And like we've talked about weeks on end, pro wrestling is in a great place right now. I mean, maybe WWE as a company is not in a great place like that right now, but as a whole, pro wrestling is good, is on its way up, higher than it's been. And like and to me, it is a shine. It is a showing that AEW is probably the hotter ticket, because I guess it's what AEW does differently, right? Like it's about the old saying goes, "What have you done for me lately?" And AEW has done leaps and bounds more. Great storytelling, great prospects, great stars, great free shows that are pay-per-view level. They've done a lot to bring the average fan, moseying over and try to keep their attention. And I think that's pretty much what it is. I think that's a big part of what it is what have you done for me lately? And WWE hasn't done what AEW has.
I mean, yeah, I think in the same mold, but I think, so here's the thing. I think this is actually more so damning than any TV rating or anything like that. Like, we know the TV ratings, that's where a lot of the money is made, but when you're talking about ticket sales in a market, that's right, a big deal for not only just like to gauge how hot your brand is regionally, but also just like what towns like you kind of own, what's your territory. And historically, New York, that whole Northeast market, that has been WWE's bread and butter. Like, Turner had the South, you had the AWA up in Minnesota and everywhere, but WWE, even after all the territories died out, Turner was still there, they still had the Northeast. The fact that the UBS Arena, which is in Long Island, New York, that is Vince's territory, that's deep WWE territory, and the most, like, the longest running show, weekly episodic show, Raw, is being outsold by almost double the amount of tickets, over double the amount of tickets, I should say. That is fucking scary. If you were a WWE fan, if you were in WWE, there was a note that Vince McMahon is not happy at all, even after they've announced Roman Reigns. Look, will they end up selling out? Maybe. But the fact that AEW is selling out quicker than them in that same market, just in the same amount of time, that shows you that people are more eager to buy an AEW ticket than they are to buy a WWE ticket in your most fervent, in your most historically important territory. If I'm Vince McMahon and there's any semblance of competitiveness, any semblance of fire, any semblance to protect what I built, what my dad built. I am like gonna change the way I do business because obviously it is not reaching the people that I first and foremost promised to always have in my pocket. And I always thought I would have in my pocket. The territory that was always under my control is no longer under my control. You have
Yep.
this company in AEW. You have them at your front door, inside your home, in Queens, doing a bigger show than WWE would ever do at Madison Square Garden, at least right now. You have them doing that big show. You have them going to Chicago. Chicago is AEW territory. I want no bones about that. They sold out the United Center on a fucking rumor. So if I'm Vince McMahon and I'm seeing this, at what point
Curious.
does your I know the money is going to keep coming. AEW, they might never beat WWE in the ratings, at least not for now. But you're telling me there's not like a little bit of you, is your Vince McMahon that's going, no, I'm not letting this happen. Not in my house.
Yeah.
Like that's what's frustrating for me. It just seems like all this stuff seems to happen, and the Vince McMahon that you and I heard stories about, the Vince McMahon that you and I grew up learning about, he's just not there. He's just
No.
not there. The competitive fire is done. He's just it's hot shotting the belt. Great, they put the title on Big E. What about next week? They have not thought that far ahead. And that's
Nope.
my problem with this company. And that is why should be a problem for them. You're telling me you're cutting ticket prices and have $15 for Raw in New York? Come on, man.
Yeah, that that's where the problem lies. Like, I mean, like you said it better than I possibly could. Like, he's not hungry anymore. Vince McMahon doesn't have that. Oh, I want them to eat shit. I want to be, better than everyone. It's not the same anymore. You know what I mean? It's we have these great stars. We're going to keep using these great stars, and we're going to make them shine the best we can. But we're not going to do anything super spectacular or super different. And okay, AEW outsells us in our home, whatever. Like, just throw Roman Reigns in it, that'll help, right? No, it's putting a band-aid on an old wound and expecting it to heal. It's not gonna happen.
And that's honestly like that's also what makes it so frustrating. The whole point of AEW, the whole point that made me excited about AEW, it wasn't just like, of course, there's this alternative brand that's going to tell wrestling storylines in a logical way and put on great matches.
Right.
But the whole point of it too was also like fans were excited because, hey, look, WWE is going to have some competition. And when is WWE at their best? Apparently, allegedly, when they have competition. And look, they haven't been putting the pay-per-views are pretty good quality. Like every pay-per-view, I enjoy the WWE pay-per-views. There's no stakes, but the matches are good enough. But the shows week to week are getting progressively worse. Raw
Yeah.
is a dumpster fire. I didn't watch Raw for like the past few weeks, like the past like 3 or 4 or 5 weeks. I just like I zoned out of Raw. Everyone was telling me, "Oh, Raw's on a string of great episodes," and I was like, "Okay, cool. Let me watch Raw on Monday night." I watched Raw on Monday night, or I rewatched it this morning. Boom! It was like one of the worst Raws I've literally ever seen. It's like actually terrible, but they've just been putting together the string of terrible shows as AEW gets better. SmackDown is getting worse. Which is one of the bright spots of WWE. SmackDown is getting worse. I don't even know what to think of NXT 2.0 right now.
I still don't know what to think of it.
It just seems like the exact opposite is happening. Yes, you have Roman Reigns, who is the Universal Champion, who is a great thing. Outside of that, what do you have? You have a half-assed Big E WWE title run, which again, I love Big E. I'm glad he's got the belt. But what's the story?
Exactly.
And what's happens next week? We like it's not like see that's again, it's not thinking that far ahead. And that's what bothers me. And that's why WWE should be freaking worried because as AEW gets better and better and better and puts on these amazing shows, Minoru Suzuki versus Bryan Danielson on free YouTube.
Yeah. That's
And what do you have? You have Shorty G and Otis? No.
no.
Trevor, no.
No, not at all. No.
Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.